Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is the report for February 16th. And guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Things are starting to turn here on the Delta. It's not great. We're going to go over a couple of tournaments that were held last week, and there were actually some fish caught. Again, it's not great, but I think this is the start of our spring fishery. We'll get into the report in just a minute. Before we do that, I'm going to talk about a few upcoming events. Number one, the annual Kings of Clear Lake Catfish Derby is coming up April 15th and 16th. My buddy Richard from Pandemic Fishing is helping to sponsor that tournament, and it's kind of a bass style tournament, a 2-day tournament. Each team can weigh in their 3 heaviest catfish for each day. Total weight is going to win $3,000. There's a lot more prize money, but that's first place. So you guys that are Clear Lake catfishermen, get up there April 15th to check it out. Tackle swap out of the bass hole April 1st. I'm going to keep pumping that because I'm going to be out there. I've got some stuff to sell. If you want a table or a booth, give Rob a call and he will get you set up in a spot out in the parking lot. For you guys that are not going to sell anything, come out anyhow. It's a good time. You'll meet some good people. There'll be a lot of people selling, getting rid of stuff at good prices that they need to get rid of. Rob usually has some sales, so that's going to be out at the bass hole April 1st. We'll keep you updated on that weekly. I guess last but not least, Real Custom Boat Works. They had their safety vessel check last week out at Paradise Point. I went and got my vessel checked. I passed. The one thing that I did learn, and this is a little tip I'll give you that I learned through the inspection, was that even if you are on a bass boat, you need a flag of some kind. I didn't have a flag. It wasn't a citation or anything. They basically gave me a flag, and what I got was basically a red towel that I could wave, and that will suffice for a flag. So a little information for you guys on the bass boat. If you get boarded and have an inspection, they're going to want to see a flag of some kind. All right, let's get into the Delta report. We'll start with what's going on out north, and I talked to Alan Fong this week, and it's tough out there. You know, the only ray of light that Alan had for the North Delta was they're catching a few stripers. Oh, I can hear a sea lion out behind me. You might see him passing behind here in a minute. But anyhow, Alan said there's a few stripers coming out of the Port of Sacramento. Other than that, he's been up there fishing, and he's been struggling like everyone else. Not a lot of people getting out on the water up there, and there's just not a lot going on out north. So right now, I think if you're coming out, the Central Delta may be the place to go. I will keep in contact with Alan as soon as something starts happening. I know he'll have the information on that. So let's get into the Central Delta report, the meat and potatoes here. And what I'm going to do today, I'll talk about a couple of tournaments. First off, I'll give you all the the water conditions out here. I'm going to talk a little bit about some information that I got from Rob Cloutier out at the Bass Hole, and I'll talk about what I've been doing. And then at the end of the Delta report, I'm going to run 2-3 minutes of aerial footage, and I will try to do a little commentary, at least point out some of the landmarks so everybody knows where we're at. And you'll see just how much standing water there still is out there. And you can see some of the areas look fairly clean, some of them, a little muddier, and you get a good idea of what's going on. But that's for you guys that want to stay around after the report and watch some aerial footage. So, what are we doing here? Let's talk about the 2 tournaments that were held last week, and really pretty productive compared to what's been going on in the last 3 months. We've seen the best fishing on the Delta that we've had in the last 3 months in this last week. I'll put it that way. Okay, NorCal tournament was out Saturday. They had 32 teams, and they had some pretty impressive weights. 16.21, 15.3 was second, and 14.9 was third. They had, I think they had three out of the 32 boats had 5 fish limits. But there was 21 teams out of the 32 that either blanked or caught 1 fish. So the field did not do that well. The fishing is still tough out here. There was a 9.3 big fish. That's a bright spot. And like I said, 3 guys had limits. So that's looking good. Now, hook, line, and sinker, Sunday had a 22-team tournament. And I think 11 pounds won that tournament. I'm not sure on that, right around 11 pounds. But you know, they give the average per team average is 1.7 fish per team. 3.2 pounds was the average. Out of 22 teams, that's 2 guys on a team fishing an 8-hour day, there were only 38 fish caught. There were 3 limits caught also at that tournament, but 23 of the 38 fish that came in were caught by 5 teams. So again, that's a sign of life. You know, I think the last tournament that the hook had back a month ago, I think 7 pounds won it or something. So that is that's something to think about. And let me give you the water conditions out here, and they're changing a little bit because the last couple days we've had some frosty evenings, so this might change a degree or two. This is from what I found Monday or Tuesday I was out. One of those days. Water temperature in the morning is about 50 degrees, and if the sun comes out, I've seen 53 degrees. I've had some people tell me that down south they're getting up to 55-degree water temperature. Down south, they're talking about 1 to 2 feet of water visibility. Out around Frank's Track and the main channel, 1 to 2 feet of visibility. I was out at Paradise Point, and I went north up through all the way up to Tower Park, and I was getting a solid 4 feet of visibility. So I think if you get off the channel, especially in north, the north end of the channel, you're going to find pretty decent visibility. I have heard that the water coming in through the McCallum River is still pretty brown, but you know, that's kind of what we have out here. Now, how's the fishing? Oh, let's talk about navigation. Navigation is perfectly safe out here. Just don't go running around 80 miles an hour. There's still a few logs floating around. The one thing that I would say that's going to be a navigational hazard, especially for those of you who don't fish the Delta a lot, is cutting points. If you're out running around, make sure you're not cutting Thule points, island points, whatever we have, real close, because what we have now is a lot of these, you know, little peninsulas, shallow water peninsulas that are coming off the points that were visible last year. Because of the high water, they're not visible. So you can cut a point real close and your boat's going to go through there, but your prop and motor might not make it through, especially if you're coming into some of the flooded islands. It looks like you can basically, it doesn't look like a flooded island, it just looks like a lake. So the rim around like Mildred Island, it looks like you can pull in there anywhere, but be careful, that's all rock. Like I say, your boat might go through there, but you're probably going to leave your prop in your lower unit. So be careful. It's perfectly safe to navigate out here, but you just have to be careful. All right, what happened with Rob last week? He fished the hook tournament, him and his partner, and Rob's a good fisherman. They had 2 fish for I think 5 pounds. Not a great day, tournament day for Rob, but he did report that leading into that he had a couple practice days where he actually caught some nice chunky 3.5, 4 pound fish. He was catching them on reaction baits in close to the Thules. I found the same thing Tuesday. I caught a couple fish, and I was out by myself for a half a day. I thought catching 2 fish was great. That's the first time I caught 2 fish in the last 4 trips. I caught mine on jerk baits, and again, I'm trying to fish the Thule island points that have submerged Thules, or you know, getting really close to structure and finding water that is hopefully 3 to 5 feet visibility. And I didn't have any luck on spinner baits. I know Rob was throwing spinner baits, chatter baits, reaction type baits. Like I said, I got mine on a stunna jerk bait, and it was a silver with a red belly. The bites were, I didn't catch big fish, they were just barely keeper fish and just very, you know, soft bites. So I also threw worms, didn't get anything on slow-moving baits. With that being said, it's going to perk up real quick as long as the sun's out. Weather conditions may have a little bit to say on what's happening this week, but all in all, it's a good time to start really thinking about coming out here. Don't take any days off of work. Don't take your vacation now. It's not happening, but in the next week or so. All right, let's check out some of this aerial footage. And like I said, I'll try to narrate some of the landmarks out there so you guys will know what we're looking at. So let's check that out right now. Okay, just below us we have Tinsley Island, the St. Francis Yacht Harbor. The main channel is to the right. You'll notice Disappointment Slough off to the right. To the far right, you can just see King Island out there. Notice how dry the islands are in this area of the delta. Now we're heading west down the main channel. We're coming up towards the area they call the Duck Pond. That's just off to the left side of the main channel. That little arrow that you see right in the middle of the picture, that cut through there, is called Shanghai Cut. And just down river is Prisoner's Point. We're heading over to Frank's Track area, and when we get up there, notice the different coloration of the water in Frank's Track. It just looks a lot milkier. I won't call it milkier, a little muddier. Kind of see it now. What we have here is the mouth of the McCallum River, Pirate's Lair, main channel right down below us. And if you look to the middle of the screen, you'll see the Highway 12 bridge. That's B&W just down below us. Georgiana Slough coming out to the left, the McCallum heading out to the right, with Oxbow Marina right in the center of the picture. That is Owl Harbor just below us, back on the main channel. Now we are heading east down to the towards Stockton, and this little point coming up again to the left, that is Pirate's Lair and the mouth of the McCallum River. We're going to cut across there, and we're going to head over. You'll see Highway 12 bridge there, and we are heading towards Tower Park. Notice how much flooding there is in this part of the river. A lot of these islands still have to be pumped out. And over to the right, you can start to see Tower Park. That's the McCallum River coming right underneath the plane wheel. He's turning around, and you follow the McCallum River. There is Tower Park. And now we're looking south down towards White Slough in that area, and look at the flooding in there. A lot of water yet to be pumped off these islands, and that's what we have on the delta. So I hope you guys enjoyed the aerial footage here and give you guys a little different look at what the delta looks like. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Things are starting to happen. It's a good time to, if you're not ready to get out and start fishing, get yourself ready, get your boat ready, get prepared to come out here, and hopefully we're going to see nothing but a steady increase on what's going out here. Get ready, it's coming, guys. Not quite yet. Don't take any time off work yet, but I'll keep you informed. So thanks a lot for listening. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button, and we'll see you guys out on the water. Until next week, thanks for watching again. Bye-bye.